right, so we avoided it for a while, but now we finally have to talk about the derivative of sine and cosine. So sine and cosine is just beginning. There's more trigonometric stuff we have to learn about, but we have to figure out sine and cosine first. All right, so let's review about derivatives. We've learned a lot about derivatives, how to use the chain rule, how to use the product rule, how to do implicit derivatives, all this stuff. We always have to go back to the fact of what is the derivative. All right, the derivative is the slope of the tangent line at a given point. So whenever we're talking about derivatives, we're talking about slopes of tangent lines and change and all that stuff. All right, so this is the graph of sine. Let's use it to find the graph of its derivative. So we're just going to do some nice points. We'll do it at 0. This is pi over 2. This is pi, 3 pi over 2, and 2 pi. That should be enough for now. All right, so let's look at this. So the derivative at 0 of sine, we'd have to find the slope of this tangent line. And what does the slope of that tangent line look like? Well, it's just going up on the diagonal. That tangent line looks like it would have a slope of 1. So its derivative is going to have a value of 1. For sine at pi over 2, all right, this kind of local maximum here, it will have a horizontal tangent. And horizontal tangents have a slope of 0. So its derivative is going to have a slope of 0 there. Here at pi, its tangent line is going to look, oops, is that a straight line? Tangent line is going to look something like this. And what does the slope of that line look like? What's just the opposite of the first one we did? It's just going down to the right in a nice 45-degree angle. That answer is -1. Right. Here, it's another horizontal tangent, so I'm not going to draw the tangent line. And back at pi, it's back to being a kind of nice diagonal like that, which is +1. Right, so those are the values for the derivative. All right, and what's going to happen to our derivative as it kind of goes up? My derivative's kind of leveling off, so it's kind of going down to 0. And then my derivatives get bigger and bigger till they kind of hit that -1, and they get smaller and round off to 0 again. And then they turn and start getting bigger. All right, so this green shape represents the derivative of sine of x. And what does that look like? Well, I could kind of continue it in both directions, and you can see that this is cosine. So the derivative of sine is cosine. That's probably like almost the best thing you could hope for when you're talking about sine and cosine. They seem kind of complicated and stuff, so the fact that the derivative of sine is just cosine is pretty nice. What about cosine? I'm going to do it a little bit quicker. I actually kind of saw everything. So we have these tangent lines there, 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 and there. All right, so my derivative is going to be 0. Oops. And then -1, and then 0, and then +1, and then 0. All right, and again, it's kind of look like this. And you would hope the derivative of sine was cosine, the derivative of cosine would be sine. It's not that nice. Sine goes up and back down. This goes down and back up, so this is actually negative sine. So not as perfect as we would hope, but still not super complicated. All right, so in summary, the derivative of sine is just cosine. The derivative of cosine is negative sine. So this is the most important thing to remember kind of from this video, is that we have this negative here for the derivative of cosine. All right, and here's just one, I was going to say fun. To you guys, it's probably not fun. I have one example. We have our function is sine. What's the 25th derivative of sine? Well, we know the first derivative. This derivative of sine is cosine. The second derivative of cosine is negative sine. The third derivative, the derivative of negative sine, well, the negative stays, and the derivative of sine is cosine. The fourth derivative, derivative of negative cosine is going to be negative. Negative sine turns back into positive sine. And then the fifth derivative, don't worry, we're not actually going to find 25 derivatives. Derivative of sine is cosine. But you can see we've kind of looped around. We started at sine, went to cosine, and now we've gone from sine to cosine again. The loop's just going to continue. So this is the first, second, third, fourth, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. So the 25th derivative of sine is going to be cosine. So this is just kind of a little thing to show that these kind of derivatives repeat. All right, you take derivative of sine, you get cosine, and you go around every 4 derivatives, you end up back where you started. So the 24th derivative would be back to where I started with. 25th derivative is cosine. All right, so quick summary of this video. Really all you need to know, derivative of sine is cosine, derivative of cosine is negative sine.